This evening, we are honored to have a special guest here to address you via Zoom on integrity in the real world, ethics, AI ethics, and professional life. So this week, we are celebrating Academic Integrity Week, how to uphold academic integrity here in Divine Word University. Joining us via Zoom is Mr. Ronson Ronald, who is a Papua New Guinean software developer, entrepreneur, and digital transformation advocate based in Port Moresby. He is the founder of Alumnus Solutions, where he works on cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and data analytics solutions designed to strengthen PNG's digital landscape. A graduate of Divine Word University with a Bachelor of Science in Mathematics and Computing Science, Louis has also served as a virtual lecturer in computing and cybersecurity, mentoring students and connecting academic learning with real-world industry practice. Passionate about ethical technology use, he is committed to helping the next generation of PNG professionals navigate AI and emerging technologies with integrity, responsibility, and confidence. So, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together to welcome Mr. Ronald. Stage is yours.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you for that intro. Good evening, everybody. I hear there's also a lot of a majority of first-year students, which is great because I think this message is for you. But good evening, everyone, students of Divine Word University, staff and students, and a special welcome to the first-year students. First year is an interesting place to be because you are no longer in secondary school. You are making your way into, becoming a professional. So you're kind of in between. It's a new campus, it's new expectations, and it's new independence. There are moments where you wonder, am I really ready for this? I can relate to that type of mentality because before I founded Aleph Digital Solutions, before I was working with AI systems, before I worked on digital transformation projects, I was sitting exactly where you are sitting right now, trying to figure out who I was becoming. As introduced, my name is Louis. I am the founder of Aleph Solutions. We are a PNG-based tech company, and we specialize in software development, AI, BI, data analytics, and this sort of work has opened up a lot of doors. But none of that started with technology. It started with habits. See, there is a line from a book called Atomic Habits. It was written by someone named James Clear, and it says, every action that you take is it's a vote for the type of person that you wish to become. Every assignment you complete honestly, every shortcut that you resist, every time you choose to understand something instead of copy pasting it, you are casting a vote. And over time, those votes shape your identity. You see, first year is not just about passing subjects, or I should probably say being in university is not all about passing your courses and your subjects, though it is important. Your academic work it's very important. But what we often forget is that it is also about forming your habits. That is important because those habits become your character, and that character that you walk out of university with becomes your professional reputation. See, I want to take you back to one of my first jobs. I was working for a digital agency here in Port Moresby. They call themselves Be Pacific Digital Agency. It was one of my first jobs, and I was working there as a young software developer. At the time, there was no ChatGPT, there was no Gemini, there was no AI assistance. The most advanced tool that I had at the time was Google. Google gave me information. It did not give me answers. I think it's very important for you to understand that distinction, because in the Google era, you still had to read, you still had to compare, you still had to evaluate, you still had to think, you had to reason. And that act of reasoning takes effort. Sometimes frustration, sometimes humility, sometimes it's saying, I don't understand this yet. Now, if you compare that to today, artificial intelligence, maybe some of you have already explored using ChatGPT or Gemini. Today, you can get AI to write your essays for you. You can get AI to draft your reports. You can use it to generate your presentations or even summarize books. To be honest, if ChatGPT existed in my first year, nearly a decade ago, I probably would have experimented with it too. But here is the issue. Just because artificial intelligence can reason does not mean you should stop reasoning. Using your brain to think is like using a muscle in your body to move. If you don't move your muscles, you weaken them. Likewise, if you stop thinking, you weaken your mind. And if you weaken your mind, you weaken your professional future. Professional integrity. And when we talk about, AI ethics and professional integrity in general, it begins now. Not when you graduate, not when you're in second year or fourth year, not when you're trying to get into your first job. It starts now. Before transitioning into building AI systems and integrating them into information systems, I experimented with early AI models. If you're in tech, maybe MCS or IS, you may be interested in this, but you don't have to worry whether you understand this what I call modeling language. I really want you to see that I was very fascinated with a lot of those technologies in its infancy. Technologies like OpenAI, DeepSeek, and Llama. They're very similar to what we know as ChatGPT and Gemini today. I was very fascinated by them. The thing is, the deeper I went into trying to understand them, the clearer something became. Artificial intelligence is powerful, but it is also neutral. It reflects the discipline or the weaknesses of the person building it or using it. And what that means is artificial intelligence can amplify your integrity or it can amplify your laziness. The decision is on you. It rests with you. Whether you decide to use AI to amplify your integrity or to amplify your laziness. See, if you use, the thing is, if you use artificial intelligence to clarify concepts, that's great. If you use it to test your understanding of the units and the courses that you're taking, that's wonderful. If you use AI to prepare for an exam or a quiz or a test by, giving it topics that you want to be tested on, and then have it ask questions and then you answer. I think that's a brilliant way to use artificial intelligence. That's growth. But if you use AI to replace your thinking, you are outsourcing your growth. And growth cannot be outsourced. If you're not the one sharpening your mind to think, you're not the one growing. It's very important because one day, it does not matter whether you're sitting, it's Academic Integrity Week. Today you're sitting in your, or at least this year, you'll be sitting in your lecture halls and your lecture rooms. Tomorrow you'll be sitting in an office space. Someone will come and someone will ask you, why did you reach this conclusion in your report? Or why is this the case with a certain write-up or research paper that you wrote? You must be able to answer those type of questions. Last year, I interacted with Israeli professionals who work in the AI and cybersecurity space. Excuse me. And one of them, the one on the right, he goes by the name of Uriel. He previously served in a unit 8200. It's if you don't know what that is, it's a globally respected cyber intelligence division that is part of the Israeli Defense Force. These people are billionaires. These people are billionaires. They've built AI systems before ChatGPT and Gemini came into existence. I don't want to downplay their efforts. I mean, a lot of the achievements that they've gotten is remarkable. They've even fought in cyber warfare fronts against countries like Iran, China, and Russia. They're basically tech billionaires with military backgrounds. But what impressed me the most was not their intelligence. It was their discipline. It was their sense of responsibility. Because in their environment, the misuse of technology has very real consequences. In their environment, the misuse of technology can cost time, money, and even human life. Discipline, responsibility, and consequence. That was the perspective that changed how I think about artificial intelligence in Papua New Guinea, not as a user of it, but also as a developer. See, as a country, we are building our digital ecosystem. And some of you will have the opportunity to contribute to building that ecosystem. And some of you also will be able to apply these digital tools like AI in your place of work, whether you're in health or tourism. We have the opportunity to build it correctly, but we also have the opportunity to use it correctly, whether it's in our academic work or also in the professional space. Because technology must serve people. It must not manipulate them, must not deceive them. It must not remove accountability. When you graduate, you will face a lot of pressures. And these are pressures that will span your professional and your personal life, and especially with your profession. When you graduate and you get into your first job, you will definitely face the pressure to deliver fast. You will face the pressure to look competent, and also, so you may be tempted to adjust figures slightly on a report. You might be tempted to submit work that you haven't fully reviewed yet, right? You might use AI to hide gaps in your understanding. Here's the key thing. Integrity is not tested when things are easy. It is tested when compromise is convenient. So I want you to take note of that. It is tested when compromise is convenient. I'm not talking about big compromises. I'm talking about the little things, the small compromises that become your habits. Those habits will then become your character, and then that character becomes your reputation in the real world. And in Papua New Guinea, reputation travels fast. PNG is a small place. I've been blessed to have rubbed shoulders with a variety of people in the industry, public sector leaders, private sector leaders. The conversations in those circles are not always professional. They're not always talking about big things. They're talking about fishing, they're talking about cars, they're cracking jokes. It's those moments that make you realize how connected everyone is. PNG is a small place, and there is always someone that knows someone. Your name and reputation will be spoken and heard in many different circles, but only you get to decide whether it's being echoed for a positive or a negative reason. All the more reason to always protect your name. I want to make this very practical for you, especially for your academic integrity week. The combination of my education at Divine Word University and then nearly a decade of experience in the field has taught me a lot of valuable lessons. And especially with AI, it's going to be, you all have a much harder test on your integrity than we did when we were in first year, especially with the when you consider the use of artificial intelligence in your schoolwork, or when you come out to join us in the workforce. But those lessons I've combined into 4 key principles, or what I'd like to call nuggets, that I want to share with you all. And maybe you can take this away and apply it in your education at Divine Word University, but as well as after you graduate and going into your into the professional workforce. And the first one is that if you build your mind before you automate things, it's going to work wonders for you. So build your mind. That's number one. Build your mind before you automate it. When I started programming a couple of years ago, there was no AI writing code for me. I had to understand the logic. I had to understand the syntax. I had to understand the structure and how to debug and find issues. That struggle and the act of training my mind and actually thinking built my competence. Now I can use AI to accelerate coding because I understand what good code looks like. When AI gives me something, I have the ability to discern whether it's good or whether it's bad. AI accelerates competence, but it cannot replace competence. Just like growth, you cannot outsource your competence. So build your mind first. The second thing is, if you cannot explain it, do not submit it. That applies to academic work and also in the professional space. If you cannot explain it, do not submit it. I want you to sit down and imagine the scenario where you're sitting in your office and your boss advises you to send a report. You're pressed for time, you're under pressure. There's a lot of things going on around you and you need to submit something. One of my biggest professional fears in my work is sending a report or a document to a client that AI helped write without fully understanding it. That's probably one of my biggest professional fears, because the implications are I mean, it can be when you're dealing with money, life, someone's health, when you're dealing with a lot of sensitive things, it becomes very dangerous. I mean, if my name is on it, my reputation is on it, and the key lesson here, if you cannot explain it, do not submit it. That's the second principle that I want you to take away. The third one, protect your name. PNG is well connected, industries are small, everybody or everyone knows someone. I'll put it that way. And the thing is, if you are reliable, doors will open. If you are careless, that will spread from ear to ear. Protect your name and your reputation. The final piece of advice is to choose courage over convenience or compromise. Integrity is tested in the little things, in the small things. There may be a task that no one checks carefully, and when no one is looking, it's easy to cut corners. A couple of years back, when I used to leave my office, I could wipe my desk quickly and say it was clean, but was it really clean? Did I really put effort into making sure my desk was clean? This has nothing to do with writing a report or, my academic work, writing an essay or, completing an assignment. It was the little things, and it was how I was taking care of the little things. Was it really clean? Was the desk really clean? How you do the small things is how you will do the big things. Convenience will say that no one will notice that I clean my desk properly, but courage says do it properly anyway. Because integrity, whether it's the little things like cleaning your desk or writing that assignment or in the workforce sending a report to your bosses, integrity is quiet, but it is what builds leaders. We're entering an age where machines can reason, but only humans can choose. Only you can choose between discipline and shortcuts. Only you can choose between understanding and dependency. Only you will choose responsibility or convenience. Artificial intelligence will reshape, in fact, it's already reshaping a lot of our industries in the private sector. But it is integrity that will determine who leads it. And perhaps some of you who will lead by using it with integrity or even build it with integrity are now sitting and listening to me speak. Leadership and just the general integrity of using AI or building AI, it does not begin in your final year or when you leave for your first job. It begins in your first year. It begins now. It begins with the habits that you form now and you develop into your second and your third and your fourth year. My final message to you all is that integrity has nothing to do with technology. It has everything to do with the people that are building it and using it. Your academic integrity will be your professional integrity in the workforce. So I want to take this time to thank Divinewood University and all you students that are watching and listening from the auditorium as a fruit of the values and the commitment that this university stands for. May it continue to shape minds and character. God bless you all. Thank you.